20 lies of astronomy and science that you still believe. Greetings, netizens. Since the human being began to acquire intelligence, many things, both true and false, have been told in school. While the majority of things we learn are true, there are many others that are false, perhaps due to a lack of information at the time or because teachers didn't know how to convey that knowledge correctly. As a result, we have carried many lies for decades and centuries. Today, we are going to see the 20 lies of astronomy and science that you always believed. Some of them may surprise you, as a lie repeated over and over again becomes an absolute truth. So let's begin. There is no gravity in space has been said many times. It's often stated that there is zero gravity or microgravity in space, but it's a way to describe our sensations. The space station orbits the Earth at 766 kilometers per second, about 400 kilometers above the surface. At that speed, the station is constantly falling toward Earth while adjusting its curvature, which makes astronauts experience the sensation of floating, similar to freefall flight. In reality, every object in the universe has gravity, and this attraction is directly proportional to its mass and decreases with distance according to Newton's law. The more massive an object is, the stronger its gravity. In space, there is always some gravity, no matter how small. We also have gravity. For example, a person weighing 70 kilograms will attract another person weighing 50 kilograms, although this attraction is negligible. Additionally, the gravity of Earth is much stronger. We never went to the moon is another of the most popular lies circulating for decades. There is no conspiracy. In several videos, I have explained the abundance of evidence of the Apollo missions, including the mirrors on the moon for scientific measurements and the lunar rocks. Over 400,000 people worked to send astronauts to the moon during the 6 missions to our satellite, and several of the involved companies were independent of NASA. Although it may be hard to believe, 12 men actually walked on the moon between 1969 and 1972. The day lasts 24 hours is another claim we make, but it is also a lie. In reality, the Earth completes one full rotation in 23 hours and 56 minutes. This system is far from perfect and is inherited from the Egyptian civilization, which divided time into 2 blocks of 12 hours, one for the day and one for the night. A more accurate system, inherited from the Sumerians, would adjust to the Earth's rotation. However, our current calendar is adapted to the direction of the sun each day, not to the rotation of our planet. The important thing is that every day at noon, the sun is at its highest point. So, we do not measure the Earth's rotational day, we measure the moment of the sun. To compensate for the time difference, we had leap years and created this slightly inaccurate calendar by rounding the figures based on the sun as a reference. We don't want to change it because it would be extremely costly. We evolved from monkeys is a commonly heard statement, and it's another widespread misconception. The truth is that humans did not directly come from any current ancestors of chimpanzees or gorillas. Instead, humans come from hominids, a family of primates that walked upright and had developed hands. Around 7 million years ago, both current monkeys and hominids shared common ancestors, but each group took different evolutionary paths. While we are indeed close relatives of chimpanzees and gorillas, sharing a common ancestor, we did not evolve directly from them. Hominids followed different evolutionary paths until the genus Homo emerged around 2.5 million years ago. At this point, early hominids began using tools, and the first signs of intelligence appeared. All species within the Homo genus eventually became extinct, and currently, only Homo sapiens, modern humans, remain alive. The Great Wall of China is visible from space is another big lie that we have always been led to believe. The Great Wall of China was constructed in the 5th century BC during a period of savagery and has since become a tourist attraction. It is not visible from space, and despite its length of 7,300 kilometers, it is quite narrow, measuring less than 6 meters. Its color easily blends in with the landscape, making it difficult to spot. In contrast, roads, bridges, and even the pyramids of Giza are visible from space due to their enormous size. The solar system consists of 9 planets and the sun. Many people still make us believe that the solar system is composed of 9 planets and the sun. It is true that Pluto was later removed, leaving us with 8 planets, but the result is the same. The solar system is not just the planets and the sun. It spans a total of 100,000 astronomical units, extending beyond 1 light-year from the sun. It reaches past the Kuiper Belt, where Pluto resides, and there is much more space where other minor bodies are found until we reach the Oort cloud, at about 2,000 astronomical units, which contains a large number of icy bodies from the formation of the solar system. The boundary of the Oort cloud is, in fact, the true boundary of the solar system. Regarding the myth of Isaac Newton getting hit on the head by an apple and having a sudden revelation about the law of gravity, there is no evidence to support this story. Newton never mentioned in his writings that he received such a blow from an apple. In reality, he spent many years developing his theories of gravity without any documented incident involving an apple. The story seems to have been perpetuated by indirect references from other authors, but there is no solid proof of the event. Interestingly, the apple tree that is said to have inspired the story still exists today and is called the Vostokmana apple tree. It is protected and produces a unique variety of apples with a sour taste. In space, one of the big lies perpetuated by sensational science fiction movies is that if you remove your spacesuit, you will swell up like a balloon and explode. The reality is quite different. If you were to remove your spacesuit, you would lose consciousness in about 15 seconds because your lungs would collapse due to the lack of air pressure. While your body could swell due to the lack of pressure, the skin and circulatory system would prevent explosive decompression. The outcome would depend on whether you are in the shade or in direct sunlight. In the shade, you could freeze, while in the sunlight, you could overheat and be at risk of drowning in your own bodily fluids. All of this would happen in less than a minute, leaving you as a mummified, petrified, and dry corpse floating in the vacuum of space. The full moon affects behavior. There is no evidence that the full moon affects human behavior. This belief is similar to the legend of the werewolf or the idea that planets influence our lives. These are myths that have no basis in reality. However, the full moon can inspire the hearts of lovers and illuminate the night landscape. Gravity is a force. While we commonly refer to gravity as a force, it's not truly a force in the traditional sense. In Newtonian physics, it is treated as a force of attraction between all bodies towards their center, and on Earth, we measure this acceleration as 9.81 meters per second squared. However, Albert Einstein showed that gravity is an illusion caused by the curvature of spacetime. Mass deforms spacetime, causing the space around bodies to deform, and that's why they are attracted to each other. The Big Bang was an explosion. Another misconception that even some scientists get confused about is the Big Bang. The universe did not start as a massive explosion that scattered matter in all directions. It was an expansion of space from a subatomic particle. Interestingly, the name Big Bang was proposed by the priest and astronomer Georges Lemaitre and has persisted in cosmology to this day. Mars is red. Another myth is that Mars is associated with the color red, and in fact, it is also called the red planet. However, Mars's colors are actually orange or reddish, not entirely red. NASA has also contributed to the myth by coloring some of Mars photographs more red than they actually are. Over time, we have discovered that neither the sky nor the surface of Mars is entirely red. The Milky Way. Another confusing name is our galaxy, the Milky Way. Our galaxy is not made of milk. Its name comes from the Latin term, which means milky road. This name originated from Greek mythology, where it was said to have come from the breast of the goddess Hera. Our galaxy is not composed of milk, rather, it contains a significant amount of gas, dust, and plasma. Astronomers have also discovered a gigantic cloud of methanol inside it, measuring at least 400 billion kilometers. If anything, it could be considered the alcoholic road. The universe is black. Even though it is often said that the universe is black, it is not entirely true. Scientists from Johns Hopkins University studied the colors emitted by over 200,000 galaxies and concluded that the dominant color of all the lights from objects in the universe is beige, resembling a shade similar to coffee with milk. The asteroid belt. The asteroid belt is often depicted in this way, and in many science fiction movies, the objects are shown to be very close to each other. However, this is incorrect. Space is so vast that finding such a large number of objects at close distances is practically impossible. In the asteroid belt, there are approximately 1 million objects, and the average separation between each of them is about 5 million kilometers. That's 13 times the distance from Earth to the Moon, which is minuscule in astronomical terms, but immense if one were to navigate a spacecraft through it. Black holes suck in matter. Black holes are commonly depicted as massive vacuum cleaners, but the truth is that they are astronomical objects with immense mass in a compact space. They behave like any other object, following the laws of gravity. For example, a planet approaching a black hole will have a relative velocity, and in addition to the black hole's gravitational attraction, it will tend to orbit around it. Why some black holes have a halo of matter around them. If an object is on a collision trajectory, it can be pulled into the black hole. Nuclear weapons can destroy an asteroid. In movies, superheroes are shown using nuclear weapons to destroy dangerous asteroids, but in reality, a nuclear weapon would not vaporize a kilometer-sized asteroid. It would only break apart a small part, and those pieces would still have a collision trajectory with Earth. Our current methods to deal with asteroids are like mosquito bites on large objects. Experts suggest that detonating bombs at key points could slightly push the asteroid out of its orbit due to the expulsion of gases. Jupiter orbits the Sun. Another myth is that Jupiter is thought to orbit the Sun just like the other planets. However, Jupiter has so much mass that the center of gravity between the planet and the Sun lies beyond the surface of our star. This means that both the Sun and Jupiter orbit a common center of gravity. Climate change is a lie. Many climate change deniers try to make us believe that climate change is a lie. Sadly, science has demonstrated demonstrated that human activities are indeed warming the planet more than usual. Since the Industrial Revolution, the world has adapted to fossil fuels for almost 2 centuries. Now, we are transitioning to renewable energies, which will lead us to a society with cleaner and more efficient energy sources, helping to protect our planet. The pyramids were created by extraterrestrials. This belief is a result of excessive ignorance and undervalues the capabilities of human beings. The problem is that we have become so accustomed to technology that we believe living without it makes us useless. The ancients used more artisanal and much slower but highly effective methods for constructing monuments. One of the methods was to wet the sand to help sledges carrying the blocks slide better on the terrain. Many ancient techniques have been lost over time. Our ancestors were not only as intelligent as us, but even more so. Our species' goal is the pursuit of truth and knowledge, and it is necessary that we progress towards a wiser society, discarding ancient myths. Eventually, the truth will come to light.